is government discharging that responsibility? Well, this is a debatable item, and again, because it is not a political forum, it's left for us to judge whether governments are discharging those responsibilities or not. So herein lies the need for community service. Community service, again, is defined as an unpaid work performed by a person or a group of people for the benefit and betterment of their community. Why would there be need for community service? One, government's inability, or is it failure, to discharge its duties. Two, this is where I talked of the directive principle that says the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. And again, if you go to the legal shall, I think it's also described as must. So government must ensure the security and welfare of the people as its primary purpose. Again, the decision whether it is doing that or not is to the individual. The second reason will be meeting other obligations or peculiar needs of community, where society has decided maybe it needs something that government in its own wisdom is not dealing with it. So community service would address that. It is a common saying that in many instances, you hear government cannot do it alone. And I wonder, probably the only thing government is able to do alone is governance. Because for governance, they don't want you to come in. But for every other thing, whether it's education, health service, security, it cannot do it alone. It cannot do it alone. But for governance, nobody calls you in government houses, to see how do we govern. So again, these are pauses for the individual to ruminate. What are the motivations for community service? Religion is one of the greatest motivations, particularly for individuals to undertake community service interventions. People want to appreciate their exalted status by giving to the less privileged. This is particularly for the individual. But there are also secular goals of beneficence and good works to society, not necessarily arising from religious conviction. What are the types of community services are there? One, by individuals who are willing and motivated, like I said earlier, by religion, altruism, etc. When I see altruism, Professor Saleh, they say blood donation is an altruistic event. I cannot forget it in my hematology posting. Number two, where you have groups and organizations that specialize on selected areas: education, health, poverty alleviation, security, disaster relief, and so on. You have many NGOs that decide to undertake particular activities in those areas. And the range of activities in community service is probably without end. One can only mention a few of them, ranging from the individual's intervention, for instance, in this community by either providing some uniform to children of his neighbors, by volunteering in community or neighborhood watch for security in the affected area, scholarships to indigent students, extra lessons by volunteer teachers, to students in their localities, various medical camps. And sometimes when you see the hospital not that busy, only wait for either the NMA or some philanthropists to announce free medical care. Then you see the hospital filling up. So is it economic hindrance, that is preventing people from presenting with sicknesses? This goes whether it's an eye surgery camp, general surgery camp, diabetes, name it. Anything you mention, then you see the hospital or the venue completely filled up. Then you also have waivers of medical bills, whether they are public hospitals or private hospitals. For people who are unable to settle their bills, there are provisions to write them off. This is a form of community service. Then you are feeding the hungry. For instance, during the recent Ramadan fast, many philanthropists provided meals. And at other times, you also have these malnutrition clinics all over the health centers that severely malnourished children are provided nutritional support. You also have many individuals sponsoring training workshops, particularly for artisans in respective fields. Like I said, the list is unending. I just want to mention a specific incident that when I was in the Ministry of Education, somebody came from Abuja from a software company. And he met us that they wanted to install this exam compiler for schools where you just enter the scores of the child, you have the biometric information of the student, and it automatically calculates the position in the class and what have you, so that the delay in giving this term report is avoided. So he said he wanted the company, his company in Abuja, wanted to install those software in the computers of all our secondary schools. So usually when you hear that, you expect a budget, a cost, isn't it? What will it cost? And for schools that had installed that software, it costed 150,000. And they were prepared to install it to 100 schools. That's 15 million for the software alone. So he said, but they are not charging the Ministry of Education. So we said, why? He now looked at one of our directors and pointed at the director of school services and said, he was my principal. I at GSS Gombawa Karatu. So giving back 15 million naira, to the Ministry of Education. And he added that idan da ban yi karatu ba, idan da malaman sun min mugunta, ai da ban yi computer science a ATBU ba, da yanzu bana wannan kamfanin, da ba zan yi wannan ba. What we did, he said our own role was only to invite the principals and their exam officers and get a venue, which we use the resource center, near the special education school. We invited them. They also upgraded their systems. This is in addition to the installation. The training was free. The software was free. The upgrading of the system by them was free. So you can imagine one single old boy did that. This is giving back to society, if you like, what he benefited from. And I want to urge us to also look back we may be now professors, but we were school children, secondary, we are students, university students, and so on before we ascended the ladder to where we are. So it is without end, you know, what you can give back to society. And this society, whether it's your old boy association, whether it's the locality you live, whether it's the town you come from, is again a very long list. But whatever little you give back, I think is well appreciated. I don't know where I am in my 30 minutes. I said it will be plus or minus. So these are the few food for thought I have for us. I just want to urge us to continue to give back to society at whatever level we find ourselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Garba Simidu. I think maybe another round of applause. I think you can agree with me that he has delivered a professorial lecture, evidence-based, evidence-driven, and empirically revealing lecture. Thank you very much. And if you look at his lecture, he talked about, in fact, the conception of community, the motivations behind this community service, the types of community service. And personally, I like this, his conceptual clarification of this idea of community. I think this is where we are getting it wrong in this country because we tend to equate or assume that community means maybe ethnic groups or tribes. Community involves this idea of pluralism, multiculturalism, diversity, heterogeneity, and whatever. Even the hunting and gathering society, particularly with the sedentarization of man, that's the beginning of history. When man settled in one place, engaged in food production and whatever. So thank you very much for this lecture. I think without much waste of time, we'll go straight to the next presentation by Malan Nasser Ishaq, and it will be on the topic, to whom much is given, much is expected, nurturing the concept of paying it forward as a societal value. Malan Nasser, what?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The chairman of the occasion, also the president of the forum, every other distinguished personality, good morning. I so much appreciate the honor given to me to discuss the topic given to me, even though I am yet to understand the yardstick that is used to choose me to discuss this. I pray that I will be able to meet up to your expectations. As well, pray that what I will say will be beneficial to the members of the forum and beyond. I think the topic is in a way connected to the first one, probably trying to debunk the other, I can say, the hypothesis of the devil. Because several occasions I had people saying, in kaga talaka a rana, ka bar shi a ranan ko ka ƙara tura shi ranan, because in ka dawo da shi inuwa zai tura ka rana. I think this is the hypothesis of the devil. Giving back to the society is very important. Unless if you are expecting the person that you help to come back or to turn back and help you also. But if you look at the society as a whole, even if naturally, not more than 10% of people that you have helped will turn back to help you. 90% of the help will be out there. So if you are looking at the society, you will continue to be helping people, to be giving opportunity to people. and our respective office holders, political appointees, and also entrepreneurs that are here present, I think my topic is more or less related to the capacity and vision of whoever the person is. Capacity and vision. I want to repeat this. Just like the Quran has repeated this several times. Ulil aidi wal abisar. As a leader, be it a political leader, an office holder, or at whatever level, all what is needed is the capacity and the vision. I will cite several examples. During the time of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, actually Abubakar Tafawa Balewa was their government that constructed the Kainji Dam with 1 million naira over a period of 2 years. 1 million naira over a period of 2 years. Recently, I saw in one of the print medias that the power holding company tariff for University of Ilorin has jumped from 80 million per month to 230 million per month. And you may remember, was it last year or 2 years ago, there was this saga in ABU, about 2 billion or so, if I can remember very well. When I calculated the 230 million naira per month for 1 year, is 2.7 billion. This is the money the power holding company of our country expects one university to pay. Compare what Tafawa Balewa has done with 1 million naira, and now is 2.7 billion for 1 year. Even if you want to argue that the naira value is not as that the period of Tafawa Balewa, consider that this is 2.7 billion naira is, turn it back to dollar, is $1.5 million at least. So I'm trying to cite example on capacity and vision and how we solve our problems. If University of Ilorin will have the arrears of this money, and even if you do not have the arrears of this money, as a university, you have the credit worthiness to approach whoever you want to approach and solve the problem. I personally believe that universities in its real sense should provide power to the city where they are domiciled. For instance, ABU can provide power to the entire Zaria city, just like the GSU can provide power to the entire Gombe city. Especially with the reformation Tinubu has done on taking out power distribution, generation, distribution, transmission, and distribution from the exclusive list. You remember Pashola had a lot of difficulty, wanted to generate power and distribute to Lagosians, but because of the laws then. That was why when they came, is one of the first things they did. Remove it from the exclusive list. So most times, I'm just giving one example, but if you look at our respective offices, such problems are there. Why won't us look at how can we solve the problem of power? If you, as a university, I cannot provide power and connectivity to my community, I think there are a lot of concerns. How do learning take place in its real sense? A second example I want to cite is with Alhaji Shehu Shagari. Alhaji Shehu Shagari, rahimahullah, while he was the Commissioner of Agriculture for the Northern Nigeria during the time of Sardauna, he approached Sardauna on the need for the northern Nigerian government to harvest rain for irrigation and also for countering desertification. And Sardauna said to him, don't bother yourself with this. For me, my grandparents told me the time will come that people from the extreme part of the northern Nigeria will have to migrate because of desertification back towards the south. And Shagari, because of his capacity and his vision, told Sardauna that if this is a predestination, that it will happen, we will not stop it from happening. But we can delay it from happening. And Sardauna said, how? I said, we can harvest all the rains that we have now for irrigation, for forestification, and so on. And Sardauna gave him the go-ahead to do the mapping. Maybe some of you may be hearing this for the first time. Most of the dams that are existing in the northern Nigeria were mapped by Shagari while he was the Commissioner of Agriculture. In fact, Audu Bako came and met the manifest and did all the water reservoirs that are surrounding Kano City. And Katsina State, although was created later in time, the last time I heard on a radio in Katsina, the Commissioner of Agriculture or someone, I cannot remember, mentioned that we have 80 functional dams across Katsina State. How many do we have in Gombe State? Created by Gombe State governments. How many do we have? So, I may not be able to talk to you on your respective offices and respective professions and so on. But I think this example is a food for thought. We can look around us and see what opportunities are we missing. What are the vision do I need to have? When you have the capacity and you lack the vision as a leader, things will not go well, and vice versa. When you have the vision and you lack the capacity, things will not work. So you have to harness the two. No one is born with this. You learn, you call for it, you aspire for it. The same Shagari had a problem with his executive council members while he was the president of this country on Nigeria's stand on African Development Bank. Because Nigeria, still up to today, is the largest shareholder in the African Development Bank. So during his time, there was this agitation. Japan, France, Britain, and United States of America wanted to be shareholders in the African Development Bank. And Shagari said, this is African. So no, anyone that is not African does not belong. But they went back to bribe some of the executive council members to push it at the executive council. This is one of the dismay of Alhaji Shehu Shagari. He said, now that even the executive council members are agitating for foreigners to be allowed to have shares in the African Development Bank, so be it. But that means Africa will never be itself. They were not looking for investment opportunities. They were looking for opportunity to cripple the bank, make sure that African Development Bank has not succeeded in developing Africa. Now just look around you. Have you seen any project that belongs to the African Development Bank in your state or in your local government? You see World Bank projects every now and there. But where are their projects? The first time a Nigerian has headed that bank since its creation was now Dr. Adesina. The first time in history. And even then, if not because of President Buhari standing on his feet to ensure that a second tenure is given to him, President Trump wanted to remove him. In fact, they even tried to scandalize him. So it's saying a lot of things about us. Now, even if we have the capacity and the vision, as respective professionals, political appointees, and so many others, we have a problem. The problem is all of our minds are geared towards what office will I hold, what political appointment can I get, and so on and so forth. Issues or concern about grants in the universities are very scarce. Even the governments, when they saw that you are creative, they try to bring you into the government. Instead of creating grants for that particular person, they bring you into the government. I will give an example with Gilani. They say Gilani was the brain behind the success of the General Motors. And the federal government maneuvered to bring him back to Nigeria. For heaven's sake, I'm not trying to negate anybody's intention or attempt to develop the country. But for heaven's sake, does Nigeria require us to be producing automobile cars? Can we compete with General Motors? Can we stop General Motors from exporting their vehicles into Nigeria? If Gilani is exceptionally a genius, my take, and I please want to request all and sundry to look at this. My take is that let's bring Gilani out of the General Motors, give him a tax to form a team. Now we want you to do research for us in Nigeria on quantum computing, for instance, on artificial intelligence, for instance, on nanotechnology, for instance, on biotechnology, for instance, or aerospace engineering. Not reinventing the wheel to go back and establish a company in Abuja and make him the head of the company to start producing automobile cars. We passed that level. And we can never reach the level of the General Motors. Now, similar examples with Gilani are everywhere. This morning when I came in, I saw ATM. And I quickly requested his permission to cite example with him. I was asking him a question. You all remember ATM? Oh, AIT, sorry, AIT. You all remember AIT? I asked him a question. Are you richer now than what you would have been outside government? So with his permission, assuming when Inua Yahaya this time around, not Inua Tata, when he came into government and saw the innovative ability of AIT and said, okay, I'm going to give you 250 million naira grant, expand the farms. I bet you now AIT would have been a billionaire. Yeah. He would have been, even if he is a billionaire now, he would have been a multi-billionaire, better than now. So I'm making a case, please. let's aspire for grants, not political appointments. The grants are scarce, I know. Yeah. But you know what? Dr. Tariq Suwaidan said one of the things he was taught in the United States of America while he was doing his PhD was 1% ownership. 1% ownership is better than 100% management. 1% ownership is better than 100% management. If I am to refer you back to Gilani's case, definitely time will come when his tenure will end. And what happens to the project lies on who takes over from him. The architect of Zangewawa project during the time of Babangida, who is actually a Gombe State citizen, now a very senior citizen, Katuka. While he constructed or conceived the idea of having Zangewawa Forest Reserve, he approached General Babangida and tried to convince Babangida to gazette the project. And Babangida came to Zangewawa to commission the project. He told me personally that while I wrote the concept, I only submitted phase 1 of the project. And I was made to be the head of the project. When my tenure ended through retirement, he said, till today, no one has come back to me to ask me whether we are done with the phase 1, let alone the phase 2. And he mentioned to them that I am only giving you phase 1 of the project. No one has come back to him about the phase 1, let alone the phase 2. Can you see the implication of tenure and appointments and office work? If at that time, Katuka was given a grant and asked to get out of the government to work on Zangewawa project, it could have been a bit different story. It could have been a different story. Now, having said all this, having provoked all of your thoughts, majority of the people I see seated are academicians. You belong to the university. But I want to remind you that our social issues in the society can only be solved with domestic creativity. With domestic creativity, not with anything else. For instance, most of the social problems that are pressing on the Nigerian society, trying to destroy the Nigerian society. Take, for instance, cattle rustling, kidnapping and banditry, farmer-herder clash, farm produce theft, and so many others. Maybe it's me that do not know, but I have never had any center in any university around Nigeria for the study of these things. Center for the study of one of the problems. There could be, I'm not aware. But even if they are rare, they are scarce. There are no way or ways that we can solve, or someone else can come and solve our problems. We have to study it, understand it very well, and find a solution to it. Grants makes our society work. Additional problem is that when you attain the level of the professorship, sai ka yi fatiha, shikenan ya cika da shahada. But when the grants are available, let me give example with Nizar Rayyan. Nizar Rayyan was a professor of geography in University of Gaza. At the same time, he was an aerospace engineer. At the same time, he was a sheikh, an imam, and a hafiz. At the same time, he was a military general, all in one person. Nizar Rayyan. He died at the age of 49 years. He achieved all these things in less than 50 years. He had 4 wives. Himself and the 4 wives and his 11 children were killed at the same time on 1st January 2009. And he had the precognition that he's going to die that night, because it was one of the Israeli war on Gaza. He arranged all his battalions, gave them commands, and made bye-bye to them and said, I'm going to stay with my family tonight, before he was killed, together with 4 wives and 11 children. He was able to achieve all these things because of grants. I also know some other people that were given this opportunity. For instance, one of my mentors, her name is Anka Wisset. She's a German. She told me that when she graduated from the university, she read agriculture. There are grants waiting for her to establish whatever she wants to establish or to execute her project in Germany. And she said, hold on a while, I'm coming. She fled from Germany to Zambia. And she cut up all of her lines, telephone, email, everything she cut up for 6 months. She said she wants to learn English language. So she learned English language for 6 months and decided to stay in Africa, and she left Zambia to Uganda. But she was working, then she was just a first-degree holder. She was working on pharmacy, biotechnology, and traditional medicine because she saw the value of traditional medicine. Eventually, this became her PhD thesis until she secured a grant from World Bank to domesticate this course at master's level at Imbrara University of Science and Technology. This is how beautiful academics can be, but you need the grant. So our governments must create grants for the creative minds, young creative minds that are emerging, rather than looking, there is no way you can give appointment to every person. And we'll only be competing for scarce opportunities. Meanwhile, the opportunities are out there in abundance. If we will not change this, then we'll continue to be suffering. To bring us back to the issue of grant again, recently I was listening to our radio station in Tunisia, D1 FM, and they were discussing the Israeli war on Gaza. And one of the commentators is called Taufik Didi, is a retired military brigadier. He said he was listening to a particular radio station in France, and he had them discussing the same topic. Thank you. And he said one of the commentators in that radio in France was saying, why are you worrying yourself with the Israeli war on Gaza, while even us in France, we are colonized by Israelis? And they said, you man, from where are you coming? How are you colonized? He said, okay, let me tell you how we are colonized by Israel. He said, the total population of Israelis in France are 600,000. And they have 60 parliamentarians in the parliament of France, which means every 10,000 Israelis are represented in the national house. He also mentioned that 90% of the media stations in France are owned by Jews. Only 10% belongs to non-Jews. Are they not colonized? How did they arrive at that? You think they arrive at that through political appointments? No. They arrive at that through grants. In India, they have what they call 59 minutes credit facility. All what you need to do as an Indian is to conceive a business idea that can convince the bankers. From the time you send in your business plan to the time you will get the money, it's only 59 minutes. And this is one of the reasons why you see them colonizing all of the streets in East Africa. All of the streets in East Africa are colonized by Indians because they have credit facility. Therefore, no place is unimportant. The private sector is important, the public sector is important, and the academics are important. But all what we are trying to say is that we should be able to harness the resources, create the opportunities, and ensure that these things have worked during your time. I emphasize the ID wal absar, possession of capacity and vision. Sometimes the private sector will be less important than the government, but sometimes the government will be less important than the private sector. Millionaires are created, they are not born, and they do not make themselves. So we have to find a way of creating millionaires among us, given the governments we have, given the different opportunities we have. When you look at, for personally, when I am ranking all the resources of this country, I consider the human resource as number one gift. Because there are countries that are in scarce of human beings. Human resource, the human beings that we have, that we consider useless, they are the most important wealth that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. Maybe followed by rain. That is my personal ranking. I did not read it anywhere. Followed by rain. Maybe followed by sunshine or sunlight or the two. That's number 3. And number 4, maybe the animals that we have. Number 5, the plants that we have. And maybe the arable land that we have as number 6. So the mineral resources, especially the petroleum resources, is number 7 and is the last. Unfortunately for us, we jumped everything and dwell on the last resources. Ibn Khaldun has mentioned this. In his Muqaddimat Ibn Khaldun, he was making analysis on world resources. And he mentioned categorically that the resources that are on the surface of the earth, he gave example with some farm produce and animals, are more valuable than every resources that is under the ground, including petroleum and gold. And I think this is the theory that Mahathir Mohamad has used to deny Malaysians from drilling their oil and say this is for the future generation. And they concentrated on the surface of the earth, agriculture. Look at where they are today. It's disheartening. When you hear that there is no, we can't say there is no, when you hear that prices of foodstuff is soaring across Nigeria, you see professors, the intellectuals, struggling to feed their families. Where is the professorship? So what I'm trying to say, you see, if, for instance, Mahathir Mohamad has allowed them to drill the oil, maybe it couldn't have been like this. the arable land that we have is supposed to be our concentration. If not, there is no way Ukraine can feed almost half of Africa. A country that does not have more than 5% of the arable land is feeding a continent that has 60% of the whole arable land, like Kofi Annan has mentioned. He said 60% of the arable land in the world is in Africa. But we are being fed by a country that does not have more than 5% of the arable land in the world. And we are suffering, we are hungry, we are poor. My prayer at the beginning is that I pray that I will be able to meet up to your expectations. And maybe what I've said will be beneficial. In case any of my statements have gone off-road, please pardon me for that. Yeah, thank you for listening to me. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much, Manuel Nasser Ishaq, for this wonderful lecture. While starting, I think Manuel Nasser asked this question. He says he don't know the criteria used by the organizers of this event for choosing him. But I want to ask the audience, do you now realize the criteria used in choosing Manuel Nasser? Yes. I think it's obvious. So thank you very much for this important lecture. Most importantly, emphasize some important things, issue of capacity, issue of vision. I think based on my understanding of his lecture, that the first crop of leaders we had, for example, in Nigeria, had these two important ingredients. They had the capacity, they had the vision. So they have given us many things. So we're expected to at least reciprocate this gesture. And then if you look at his lecture, he has given us maybe he provoked actually our thought, contemporary history, world political economy, world politics, and what have you. And particularly the idea of Ibn Khaldun, this idea of resources and what have you. I know he will, in fact, maybe remind the management of even Gombe State University to maybe establish or set up faculty of agriculture in the university, because we know farming is very important in this particular regard. So thank you very much for this lecture. I think it's thought-provoking. Maybe something will be done on this. That's why somebody said, Nigeria is too rich to be poor and too poor to be rich. Maybe we should think of this. I think without much ado, if you remember at the beginning of this, we said this particular program is organized to honor, to appreciate some of our active members, some members who have reached the pinnacle of their career, particularly in academia, professors. So we'll move quickly to this particular segment, and we have some of them that will be honored, will be given this particular appreciation. The first is actually the former president of Gombawa Forum, Professor Muazu Shehu. And then, based on the ritual in even the academia, we'll invite Professor Muazu Shehu, and then we'll read his citation, and then thereafter we'll invite the chairman of the occasion to give him the certificate. Prop. All that will be said. Thank you. Citation on Professor Muazu Shehu. We have summarized, we have condensed the whole thing. Born on 18 March 1974, Muazu Shehu is the Director General of Research and Documentation in the Office of the Executive Governor of Gombe State. He is also a permanent secretary designate of the Gombe State government. Additionally, he holds the position of Professor of Environmental Sociology at Gombe State University. He attended Central Primary School in Gombe and Gombe Secondary School in Malan City, where he obtained his primary and secondary school certificates. Muazu earned his BSc and MSc degrees from Ahmadu Bello University Zaria and Bayero University Kano, respectively. He received his PhD in sociological studies from the University of Sheffield, United Kingdom, where he was under the joint supervision of the renowned British sociologist / social anthropologist, Emeritus Professor Richard Jenkins. and the highly esteemed multidisciplinary social scientist, Professor Susan Hodgson. Muazu worked as a senior research fellow, Carson Fellow at the Rachel Carson Center for Environment and Society at the most prestigious German university, the University of Munich. In 2022, a study co-founded by Oxford University, UK, and Liberty University, Hawaii, USA, recognized Professor Sheu's research as one of the 10 core studies that significantly influenced the understanding of environmental stewardship and human dominance over nature. In 2021, Professor Muazu, together with 20 other distinguished scholars in the field of environmental humanities from around the globe, was recognized with an exhibition on the sidelines of the UN Climate Conference, COP26, in Glasgow, Scotland. The awareness and influencing climate mitigation policy globally. Okay. The exhibition highlighted the role of environmental humanities in advancing climate awareness and influencing climate mitigation policy globally. Muazu Sheu is a recipient of several prestigious research grants from the Social Science Research Council, New York, the Institute of International Education, United Nations Plaza, New York, and the Carnegie Corporation, USA, among others. Muazu is a member of the Sustainability and Development Research Network at the University of Michigan, the American Academy of Religion, the British Sociological Association, and the International Sociological Association. I have the singular honor and privilege to present to you Professor Muazu Shehu, a professor of environmental sociology. So, Mr. Chairman, of this occasion, we present this particular subject. Okay, sir. Oh.
So, Gombawa Forum today illustrates its own recognition of your elevation to the chair, and hereby present to you a certificate of appreciation. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The next on the list is Professor Sani Ahmed Yauta, Prof. Sir. Professor Sani Ahmed Yauta was born in Malan Sidi, Kwame local government area of Gombe State on the 10th of October 1976. He began his formal education at Zango and Kanti Primary School, Jama'ari in Bauchi State from 1981 to 1987 and proceeded to Government Teachers College, Jama'ari, where he obtained his grade 2 certificate in 1993. After that, he moved to Federal Polytechnic, Mubi, Adamawa State, where he obtained his Nigeria certificate in education, NC in business education in 1998. Thereafter, he went to the famous University of Abuja for his BSc Economics and graduated in 2004. After his NYSC in Bomadi local government area of Delta State, Professor Sani proceeded to the University of Maiduguri and obtained his Master of Education degree in Educational Administration and Planning in 2012. Following his quest for more knowledge, the young educationist and administrator proceeded to the University of Colombo, where he obtained his PhD in 2015. However, in his pursuit to overcome the complexity and challenges of the digital world, he went and obtained a proficiency certificate and later a diploma in computer studies at the University of Maiduguri and British Informatics of Computer Technology, Colombo, respectively. Professor Sani began his academic career as a graduate assistant at Gombe State University in 2006, where he rose through the ranks to the current position of a professor of educational management and finance. Professor Sani was appointed as the pioneer director of general studies in 2016. In fulfillment of his educational profession, Professor Sani is a registered and active member of many professional and learned societies, such as Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, Nigeria Association of Educational Administrators and Planners, and West African Association of Educational Planners and Administrators. He is also a fellow, Chartered Institute of Administrators, fellow Institute of Corporate Administrators, fellow Institute of Industrialists and Corporate Administrators. In 2017, Professor Sani went to the College of Education Billiri on secondment from Gombe State University after he was appointed as the Deputy Provost of the college by the Executive Governor of Gombe State. He completed his secondment and returned back to Gombe State University in August 2021. After successfully assessing his outstanding performance, resilience, and better service delivery. He was appointed immediately upon resumption as Deputy Dean, Faculty of Education, the head of the Department of Educational Foundations, and later the Dean of the Faculty of Education in the university. He has been effectively holding these positions until his nomination and election as Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic of the university. Professor Sani has over 40 publications in reputable journals and books chapters and attended many national and international conferences. His research area is higher educational management and finance. He is happily married to Barrister Fatima Saad with 4 children. Thank you. I want to call again Mr. Chairman to present this certificate to Professor Sani Ahmed Yauta.
All right, Professor Sani Ahmed Yauta, today Gombawa Forum demonstrates its pride in you, in your achievement, and present to you a certificate of appreciation. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. The next will be Professor Tafiano Ishiaku. Thank you very much, sir. Professor Tafiano Ishiaku was born on 15th day of January 1973 in Zambuk, Emal to the local government area of Gombe State. He had his primary education at Jekadevori Primary School, Gombe from 1980 to 1985. He then proceeded to Pilot Junior Secondary School, Gombe between 1986 and 1988. From 1989 to 1991, Malan Sufyan was at JSS Malan CD where he sat for his SSC. Encouraged by these initial successes in his educational journey, he then proceeded to the College of Legal and Islamic Studies, Misau, where he obtained a diploma in law in 1996. Our Awadi backed his first degree in Islamic Studies from the prestigious University of Maiduguri in 2004, master's degree in Islamic Studies from Bayero University Kano in 2009, and PhD from the International University of Africa, Sudan in 2013. 3 years after his PhD, Dr. Safiano obtained a professional diploma in education from Jibuis College of Education, Gombe in 2006. From 2008 to 2018, Dr. Safiano attended more than 12 conferences both within and outside Nigeria. He also participated in many workshops and has more than 25 publications in reputable local and international journals. He was awarded Best Paper Presenter at the International Conference on Religious Pluralism and World Peace in Pakistan in 2017. Letter of commendation by Gombe State University, letter of commendation by Pioneer VC Gombe State University. He also engaged in many community services at both national and state levels. Liaison Officer, Ministry of Education, NYC, MSS, Gombe Area Unit, Secretary, Admission Committee for Jibuis, BOT member, Zambuk Dawa Committee, member, Governing Council, Gombe State College of Legal and Islamic Studies, NAFADA, member, Emirate Council. Our awardee is conferred with the prestigious traditional title of Masoron Yamaltu. At the national level, he served as resource person for BA Islamic Studies, NUC Resource Verification Team to College of Education Zing, Taraba State, affiliated to Ahmadu Bello University Zaria in 2021, resource person for BA Islamic Studies, NUC Verification Team to Kwara State University, resource person, NUC Verification Team, College of Education Argungu, resource person, NUC Verification Team, Jigawa State University, Kafin Hausa, resource person for BA Islamic Studies, NUC Verification Team to Ademi, Federal College of Education Ondo, is also Chairman Monitoring Committee on the level of implementation and revitalization fund to federal and state colleges of education in Kaduna, Plateau, and Bauchi State. Our D is currently the acting provost, College of Education and Legal Studies, NAVA. Any other things? So I want to invite the chairman of this occasion to present this certificate to our award.
Professor Safiano Isiaku, it's my single privilege, my pride, to present to you on behalf of Gombawa Forum this certificate of appreciation after your elevation to the chair by the Gombe State University.
very much, sir. Thank you very much. My colleague, Dr. Bose, will continue with the citation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So the next of the awardee will be Professor Mohamed Manga. So as it is said, because of time, we've excised and condensed the citations. Professor Mohamed Manga was born on the 29th day of October 1977 at Tudunwada, Gombe. Professor Mohamed Manga attended Usman Memorial Primary School, Gombe, and Federal Government College, Azare, and obtained the primary and the senior secondary certificates in 1990 and 1996, respectively. Professor Manga graduated from the University of Maiduguri in 2006 with MBBS degree, and then proceeded to the University College Hospital, Ibadan, for his postgraduate training in medical microbiology. He became a fellow of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria and West African College of Physicians in 2014 and 2015, respectively. He worked as a house officer in the then Federal Medical Center, Gombe, between 2006 and 2007, and he proceeded to Baza Clinic in Mina, Niger State, for the National Youth Service Corps. Professor Manga, immediately after NYSC in 2008, he returned to Gombe State Ministry of Health and worked as a medical officer in the State Specialist Hospital, Gombe, before being posted to the Cottage Hospital 2 as the first medical officer in charge in 2009. He was appointed as senior lecturer with Gombe State University in 2015 and rose to become a professor with effect from 1st October 2021. Professor Manga obtained several additional certificates, especially in infection prevention and control, patient safety, clinical epidemiology, and medical virology. He was at the headquarters of the Global Virus Network in the Institute of Human Virology, Baltimore, Maryland, USA, for the annual short course for emerging leaders in medical virology in 2017. Manga was awarded the Saji LLC attendee scholarship in 2018 during the IPAD Canada Annual Educational Conference in Banff, Canada. In 2001, he was awarded the Glenmore Medical Online Postgraduate Scholarship to study MSc Clinical Education at the University of Edinburgh, United Kingdom. He had attended several other conferences and workshops. Recently, Professor Manga was at the Stephen Hill Hospital, Stockport, in United Kingdom for a 3-month clinical attachment in the Department of Medical Microbiology between December 2003 and February 2023 and 2024, respectively. Professor Manga had participated in over 40 trainings, workshops, and conferences locally and internationally. Professor Manga had been the head Department of Medical Microbiology and Immunology, Gombe State University, and Federal Teaching Hospital, Gombe, between 2016 to 2023. He was the Pioneer Dean, Faculty of Clinical Sciences, Gombe State University, between November 2016 and November 2018, and was also the first Dean, Faculty of Basic Clinical Sciences, Gombe State University, between November 2018 to September 2019. And he became the Deputy Provost of the college from 2019 to January 2022. Professor Manga was appointed the third Provost of the College of Medical Science, Gombe State University, from January 2022 today. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call on our chairman to present this certificate, assisted by the
Professor Mohamed Manga. It's my honor and privilege to present to you, on behalf of Gombawa Forum, this token of their appreciation for your elevation to the chair. in Gombe State University.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So next in the list is Professor Sani Adamu. And this time around, we'll invite one of the medical elders, the former permanent secretary, he will be the one to hand over the certificate to him, Dr. Gerber. So I will now read the citation of Professor Sani Adamu. Professor Sani Adamu was born on the 1st of February 1997 in Gombe. 1977. Sorry. He was born on the 1st February 1977 in Gombe. So he obtained his first living school certificate from Jenkai Primary School, Gombe, in 1988. Then senior secondary school certificate from Government Technical College, Kumo, in 1994. He bagged his Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery from the prestigious University of Maiduguri in 2004. Professor Sani undertook his primary fellowship, Part 1 fellowship, and the Part 2 fellowship of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria in 2010 and 2013, respectively. Professor Sani Adamu has vast experience of teaching. He is a visiting lecturer, Department of Chemical Pathology, College of Medical Sciences, University of Maiduguri in Borno State. He is also a senior lecturer with the Department of Chemical Pathology, College of Medical Sciences, Gombe State University. He was a reader, College of Medical Sciences, Gombe State University, visiting reader, College of Medical Sciences, University of Maiduguri, visiting reader at College of Medical Sciences, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University. Professor Sani Adamu had several commendations and awards, among which was the commendation for participation in laboratory subcommittee from Gombe State Task Force in COVID-19, that's in 2020. He also had a commendation after successful tenure as head of department, Chemical Pathology, Federal Teaching Hospital, Gombe. He also had another award by Dr. Alexandra Eyimofi Bio Award for the best candidate in his Part 1 of the Fellowship of Medical College of Chemical Pathology in the exams conducted at the National Postgraduate Medical College in 2010. He had another certificate and award by the International Travel Grant of the American Association of Clinical Chemists. Professor Sani Adamu had over 50 publications to his honor, and he is a traditional title holder, the Sardona Lubo, in Yamal to the local government of Gombe State. Thank you. So I would like to invite our medical elder, Dr. Garba, to come and hand the certificate, assisted by
Professor Sani Adamu, please accept this token of appreciation from Gombawa Forum on your exalted elevation to the professorial chair. Wishing you God's blessing.
Okay, next. Thank you very much, Dr. Garwa. So the
Next person is Professor Sale Yuguda. While the citation and the CV is very intimidating and very bulky, but we have excised and condensed it for the sake of time so that we will be able to have something to say. Professor Saleh Yuguda was born in Gombe on the 23rd of September 1976. He attended Gandu Primary School, Gombe, and he also went to Government Science Secondary School, Gombe, where later on he went to University of Maiduguri, where he obtained his first degree, MBBS, from that prestigious university. Professor Saleh Yuguda had a lot of working experience. He did his one-year internship at the then Federal Medical Center, Gombe, and he went for his one-year mandatory youth service at State Hospital, Oyo, in Oyo State. He was then a supernumerary resident in the Department of Hematology in the University College Hospital, Ibadan. Currently, Professor Luguda, he is now the Executive Secretary of the National Blood Service Commission, DG, Director General. Professor Saleh Yuguda, he had a lot of positions that he held. He was the acting chairman of the Nigerian Cancer Society, Gombe State branch. He was also a visiting consultant hematologist, Federal Medical Center, Yola. He is also a visiting consultant hematologist at Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Teaching Hospital, Bauchi. He is also a director and coordinator of the Northeast Zone of Hemophilia Foundation of Nigeria. He was also a consultant hematologist at the Department of Hematology, Blood Transfusion, Federal Teaching Hospital, Gombe. He was also a senior lecturer in the Department of Hematology and Blood Transfusion, Gombe State University. He was once the head of Department, Hematology and Blood Transfusion, Federal Teaching Hospital, Gombe. He was an associate professor of Hematology and Blood Transfusion, College of Medical Sciences, Gombe State University. And Professor Saleh Yuguda has attended a lot of conferences and workshops and trainings. He was at the 48th Annual General Meeting, Scientific Conference, and the 50th Golden Anniversary of the Nigerian Society for Hematology and Blood Transfusion, which was held in August 2023 at the Nikon Luxury Hotel, Abuja. He was also at the 17th Annual Scientific Conference and All Fellows Congress of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. He was also at the 17th Annual Conference and the Annual General Meeting of the College of Nigerian Pathologists. He was at the International Cancer Week and Scientific Conference in 2022. He was also at the 16th Annual Scientific Conference and All Fellows Congress of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. He is also an examiner with the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. Professor Saleh Yuguda, she's happily married with a wife and 4 children. Thank you. So, Dr. Garba, you can help us to have a nice.
Professor Sale Yuguda. I have been missing him, actually. Whatever hematology issue I had, I just make a phone call. For the CMD, I'm not missing him because he's still in town. Accept this token of appreciation from Gombawa Forum on your elevated position as Professor of Hematology. I will add, and the Director General, National Blood Transfusion Service. One time he was with my chairman at NIPS, who is also a hematologist, a former teacher in ABU, General Njoku, and Professor Saleh called me and linked me with my chairman. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Dr. Garba Saidu. Thank you very much, Dr. Bose, for reading this citation. We'll have some minor slight changes actually to the program or event. Ideally, we should go straight to the second award presentation. That's the founding fathers and some active members of Gombawa Forum. But we'll now jump to number 10. We'll listen to the response from some of the awardees and discussions. And thereafter, the second part of the presentation will now continue. So now we'll go to the response. Some of the awardees may respond, and then thereafter we'll continue with maybe one of them should come out and respond on behalf of others. Yeah? You said? Okay, maybe I will call on Professor Maazu Shehu, maybe to speak on behalf of the awardees. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bao. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On behalf of all the awardees here today, particularly the first segment of awards, I feel really, really honored and humbled by the accolades, by the generous citations, and by the gesture as a whole. It's really remarkable for your humble and little contributions to the community, to the society, to the country to be recognized in such a manner by such an esteemed association of really notable people of integrity, quality, and reform mind. So on behalf of all of us, I wish to assure you that we take this honor really very seriously, and we hope and pledge to continue the little humble contributions we are making, not just to Gombe State, not just to Nigeria, but to making the world in which we all live a better place. Thank you very much for the award. I hope this process will continue, and we'll see more awards coming in the near future. More importantly and crucially, I think one of the ways to revive this really influential forum, Gombawa Forum, is to have us meet as regularly as possible, to be able to, as we used to do, dissect, cross-fertilize ideas, and come up with workable solutions to the myriad of problems affecting us as a people. We know that Nigeria is bedeviled by multiple challenges, and these challenges cannot be solved by us sitting down and watching our televisions or being on our phones or mining this new mining on smartphones. These things cannot solve our problems. So we have to work harder. We have to imbibe the culture of discuss. As Jürgen Habermas of the University of Berlin said, discuss is a major driver of progressive change all over the world. So we can't sit back and expect change to happen without us coming together to share ideas, to exchange opinions, and to look for ways or pathways to solving our problems. With this, I say thank you once again, and I hope Gombawa Forum would continue to progress and triumph. Long live Gombe State, long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much, Professor Mazushew. Thank you for thanking us. I think without much waste of time, I will call on QS Ahmed M. Kabir to anchor this important segment. Maybe we'll have a discussion, something very important. QS.
That's an ambush. Anyway, thank you very much. I think we had thought-provoking speeches from our guest speakers, and we felt it's actually very important that we open the floor for comments on what we have listened. There are challenges. We will restrict the discussions first on what we have listened to. I mean, I know people are agitated. People will want to discuss Gombawa Forum. We will discuss Gombawa Forum. We're just starting. I mean, with this, we have been challenged. We have been inspired. Certainly, we will have discussions around and about Gombawa Forum. But before we do that, we will just create the opportunity for people to comment on what we have listened. I mean, there were issues. Yes, we will come. We will give numbers, but I think we have our father, we have the past president, too, on the high table. But I think some of the issues that are germane has also been raised by the MC. I mean, from the issue of Faculty of Agriculture in Gombe State University to the issues of grants that Malan Nasir Isaac has raised. I mean, we don't need political appointment. What we actually need are grants. And happily, when some citations have been read, we had how some of our brothers had been able to attract grant. So we should, I think, discuss around those lines before, possibly after we make presentations to some of the founding fathers who are here. I mean, we have certificate for almost every founding member of Gombawa Forum, but we can help it. We can only pick those who we have seen in this hall and present certificate to them. But I will also assure you, subsequently, just the same way we did for this, we will honor. We will continue to honor. I mean, it was just something that came up, and we felt we should do. Possibly that will attract what the kind of traffic we require. We have tried severally to do general meetings. When you call for general meetings, people hardly attend. We did the Lamy Memorial Lecture in 2018. The attendance was not as good as this, but alhamdulillah, today we have quality. We have more number, and even the quality is there. So please, let's have a conversation on what we have listened to, and I will start with our father, Mala Umar Gurama. I will go to the president. I know the chairman has done a lot, so maybe we'll listen to you last, Mr. Chairman, after coming back from the audience. No. I mean, we will start. Yes, I think they will have three minutes to comment. Three minutes. They are on the high table, please. Thank you. For the audience, we'll give you two minutes. Condense your thoughts, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the organizers of this session of meeting, for giving me the privilege and opportunity. I am not a professor, neither am I a PhD, an ordinary grade 2 teacher also. Thank you very much. Well, you can call it anything. So please, I think having combined the two discussed topics by the two discussants, I think it's talking about how to pay back to the society. My worry about the whole thing is we've turned the event into kind of an typical academic university environment, which has not touched on who are we, what is Gombawa, nobody defined what Gombawa is all about, and where Gombawas are, and who are they in the context of the current Gombe state, which is a rural state among the 36 states of Nigeria. All of us are coming from a rural society, the whole state, except maybe Gombe Metropolitan. Issues are there and are abound. Every one of us must have one idea of the solution to the problem, but very unfortunately that still we are defining ourselves from the perspective of elitist class. I can vouch for southern Duku, which is 57 kilometers away from Duku town, which is very hard and difficult to reach. There are communities there who live there for centuries, no water, no hospital, no school, no access road. They live in penury and poverty, and nobody cares. Even the rural roads are broken down. And we said we have people here in the urban centers who are deciding for us. All the policies contained in the budget of 2024 for Gombe State has not taken care of the problems of the rural societies who are living there. And nobody was talking about it. It's not about, we have so many professors, we have so many universities. The last time in, I hope 2001 or so thereabout, only university, Federal University of Kashirat convened a national conference on nomadic pastoralists. Up to this moment, there is no any document that has been published on what strategies University of Kashiri will adopt to address the issue of the environment within the context and area of Gombe State, which is containing 80 or 85% of nomadic in one form or the other, pastoralists in one way or the other. Somebody has mentioned about Wawazange. Wawazange had been bastardized. It was within the area of 775 square kilometer. No single tree is standing in Wawazange. I was the former district of that area. I know what was there. I have a village up to this moment when the rain is falling. They buy a water that is a bad water, 1 drum, 1,000 naira. And people were there. So please, I think I'm glad to be here. I have listened to whatever submission people are making. Let's focus. We say we want to be vigilant or vigilant and focus on. Let us focus. We know our problem is the choice of leadership that we impose on ourselves, we impose on the people. Leaders that are liability but not an asset. All of them, from the local government chairman up to the governor, are all a liability on us. Nobody is willing to address headlong the problem of the people or the variant and the areas that we say these are our societies. So if we want to address this issue, we have to consider Gomba has an opportunity and chance to start addressing the issue of our political games that we play in Gombe State. How do we address the issue of imposing leaders? You cannot tell me that we conduct. I was part of the election, the last election, local government election, that we say we elect local government. It was a baldash. We elected nobody, but we appointed everybody. So let us be honest with ourselves. We are the elites. It's not about speaking big grammar. It's not about English. Kada mu zo mu yi ta yaudarar mutane kawai, muna tara mutane muna ta musu turanci. Gaskiyar magana mu makaryata ne, mun ɗauki ɓarayi mun ɗora akan kujerunmu. A budget, 11 local governments, as the last House of Assembly approved estimates of the local governments, they approved over 59 billion. Duku has 300, not up to 400,000 population. Gombe, which is a metropolitan, has less than 275,000 population. They are earning every month without doing anything from the federal account. They get more than 350 million every month. What have they done with the money? Why are we? You conducted an election, you take the money of the local government, you pay the Independent Electoral Commission of the state. That will not happen. The responsibility of the elites, the professors, the doctors that are in the university environment, they should not fear anybody. Come out and talk. I'm a politician. I would not so carry kujerata. Makeba ruanka na kore kada ko koma aji kai koyar ruanka. Ba wanda zai tambaye ka. So let us be honest with ourselves. Let us work as citizens of Gombe. Let us Gombawa. Let us define Gomba. Who is Gomba? What is Gombawa? Me muke so mu yi. In muka tsaya muna wannan turancin. I'm sorry. In mun mutu ba masu gadon mu. Sannan kuma dukan mu kawai muna yaudaran juna ne. Please, I want to rest my case here. Next time when you convene any meeting like this, invite us, we'll discuss. We'll be frontally challenge anybody to come and tell us what has been done. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I mean, outspoken as always. Yes, Gombawa, we have the former president of Gombawa Forum. Again, local government, I think the first issue we'll have will be the local government. Shi Dr. Babu Sule shugaban gudanarwa yanzu na Gombawa Forum ya yi magana akan cewa by end of July za mu zo nan za a tattauna maganar local government. And abun farin ciki ne tunda babanmu ya riga ya karba, mu an haife mu mun tashi mun gansa a local government. Yes, a local government muka da DE na san shi from DS to secretary. Katagun local government har ya zo aka yi Gombe State suka dawo har suka wannan. So chairman ina gama da chairman of the occasion na next activity da zamu yi, kuma we have dama lined up speakers for that activity. One of our active members then, both a supporter and a commentator on the platform, Alhaji Ahmed Walama, baya nan ya tafi hajji dan da suna nan ma dama da maganar local government din zamu yi. Ko isku ya kuma yi
Mohammed Kabir, the chairman of this occasion, distinguished guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there are ladies now in the hall. It's my pleasure to stand before you. I want to give 2 suggestions based on the papers presented. But before then, the first thing I would like to say, I would like to quote from what Dr. Gerber said, that who is he to speak on front of professors. I would like to tell you that you are a teacher and mentor of professors. So you are above them. So you have all the liberty and all the wherewithal to speak in front of them, because all of them were your mentees and students. Based on what Dr. Gerber presented, I was thinking of something when he was talking, when he mentioned NIPS. I was in NIPS last year for a 1-week workshop, just 1 week. And I can tell you that after I came back home, my life has changed. One presentation on emotional intelligence, one presentation changed my life. But I can tell you that I've been going to several workshops on emotional intelligence, but that of NIPS is so different. Just 1 week, not minding someone that was there for the senior executive courses. From what he mentioned about community development, I would like to suggest that Gombawa Forum should form a committee of people to look into how are we going to develop our communities. That is my first suggestion. The second one, based on what Marlon Nasu Ishak presented, I would like to tell you, sir, I'm not refuting your presentation, but I would like you to go and check about what was spent to build Kainji Dam. You know, I'm a very, very inquisitive person. When you mentioned that, I quickly Googled, and what I saw was different from what you said. Please go and check very well on what was spent to build Kainji Dam. Based on this presentation, I would like to suggest that we form another committee to look into how we can get grants, and hopefully, and positively, I would say that we have people here that are masters in grant writing. One of them is there in the high table, and our former president of Gombawa Forum. I would like him to be part of the committee, if accepted. Let's have a committee that will look into how we can get grants. Grants are there, flying. People are accessing grants everywhere. And how do we, at Gombawa Forum, access the grants to build Gombe State? Lastly, I would like to say my dismay for not seeing Tasiu Adamu here. Tasiu is the founder of Gombawa Forum. I can remember in 2011, I was one of the 10 people he added in Gombawa Forum. He just called me that he has created a group in Facebook. Can he add me there? I said, please add me. You know, Tasiu is my younger brother. I don't know what happened, but Tasiu is supposed to be here. Next time we're having a function like this, please, organizers, ensure that Tasiu is here. It's our honor, myself and some of my executives, when I was the president of Gombawa Forum, are here. But I always say this, please, let's value the best person that founded Gombawa Forum, and it is Engineer Tasiu Adamu. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Point noted. We will just take numbers. He is here with us in spirit, and I know, maybe he may not like it, but I will have to announce that he actually supported this particular program financially. I think possibly it's because of the Salah break. We have been making lots of consultations. Yes, and I'm sure next we are here, he will also be here with us. So I will just give numbers. Yes, for those who want to speak. Okay. Okay, yes, I think I will pick Abla Abakar Lamido I will pick Malam Faruk Yerma. Yes, ATM. Okay. Okay, let's go for the first round. Then we will come back. Abla Awal, you are still. I mean, we will give you opportunity, but we will take people outside. Yes, Malam Abla Bakalamido, please.
Bismillah. Alhamdulillah, I thank the organizers being the third person to join Gombawa Forum after Asiu and Muazu Shehu. And a lot to say, but I think I congratulate the presenters. I got from them exactly what I expect they should do. But beyond that, thank you very much. You see, I want to comment on one point made by the first speaker. He talked about motivations for community service. And the first thing he mentioned was religion, and he said particularly for individuals. But I want to add that religion, especially the one I know more, Islam, pays more attention to communal approach to community service than individual. I think that is very important. All the teachings of Islam, take the 5 pillars of Islam, everything is done communally. It promotes doing things together for the betterment of the society. If you pray alone, you have 1 reward. If you pray in congregation, you have 27. You can't do your fasting alone in Ramadan. You have to do it together with the community. If you go for Hajj, you don't do it alone. Everything is communal. But what is important is even when you come to pray alone, you will not say, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Malik Yawmiddin, and say, Ihdinis Sirat al-Mustaqim. You say, Ihdinas Sirat al-Mustaqim. You think about the community. So it's about us coming together, and what the Quran says, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا. Work together, help one another in addressing communal issues. تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. So I think it's important, it's high time our religious leaders, scholars in particular, show us the value of community service. And I want to, the last thing to say, I want to, in connection to this, of course, to emphasize the fact that we have to accept the reality. Yes, our father, Dr. Garba, has mentioned that we always say government cannot do it alone. And this is a fact we should accept. There has never been in history where everything is done by government alone. And that's why ab initio, even in the teachings of our religion, we have things that should be done by the community and things that have to do by the government. And so long as, especially if we look at our realities today, a population that grows 3.2% per annum. You are talking about a population increasing by 7 million every year or more, and it continues to increase. What are we doing? And of course, food production, for example, reducing due to the pressure on the land. We cultivate all the land. We have built all the land that was cultivated before. I think we need to sit down and see what we can do outside government to complement what we should pressurize the government also to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Malam Faruk Yerma, please. Yes, thank you. AIT will be next, then we'll go to... Okay.
Auzubillahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Members of the High Top, Mr. Chairman, let me use this opportunity to seek for your approval. I want to speak in Hausa. Saboda Hausa nan shi muka fi fahimta. So maganan da nake so na yi a nan a ɗan wannan lokacin da aka bayar shine mun saurari bayanai daga shehunan malamai da suka kware a filaye daban-daban guda biyu. Ni dai na zo latti da deliberately na skipping the second item on the agenda so that kar mu zo mu gaba mu gane abin da kyau ba. But national anthem din nan shi ne. Abin da nake so ne magana a samun kaina a cikin 'yan siyasa. Lalle ni din ma akwai inda na ƙware, amma dai na zama ɗan siyasa full-time politician gaskiya. Ina so na yi kira ga shugabannin Gombawa Forum da a yi taka-tsantsan da abubuwa da yawa wajen ƙoƙarin dawo da martaban wannan forum ne. In aka yi haka za a samu nasara. Duk lokacin da aka tattauna, aka ga matsaloli, aka tattauna, kuma kar a tsaya kawai a ta criticizing. Lalle a zo da solutions to waɗannan matsalolin da aka gane zai taimaka wajen ci gaba. In aka karkata wajen yin abun siyasa, za a ci gaba da samun matsala. A lokacin da gwamnatin ɗan Gombe ta wuce, babu gwamnatin da aka sa ta on toes kamar gwamnatin ɗan Gombe daga ɓangaren Gombawa Forum. Gwamna nan lokacin ya yi tolerating mutane da yawa sosai, kuma da yawan mutane sun yi amfani da damar ta hanyoyi da yawa, positive way and the negative aspect of it. Da Allah ina kira kar a yi amfani da irin wannan daman a irin wannan lokacin da muke tafiya gaba kenan. Ba na manta wani lokaci a Ministry of Youth muka ƙirƙiri wani program da muke so mu yi, muka sa masa za mu yi awarding 'yan Gombe da suka yi fice a ɓangarori da yawa na rayuwa. Kuma muka samu approval na State Executive Council. Muka yi nominating ga shi Abubakar Inuwa Tata. Akwai Professor Ma'azu a ciki, akwai Sheikh a ciki. Da muka kai sunan council aka karanta, da yawa mutane suka ce, wani Tata? Ya Tata ne za a ba shi aiki a cikin wannan abu yadda yake ta bamu wuta? Gwamnan ya ce to na yi bayani akan Tatan nan, waye ne Tatan? Na ce gashi ga dalilan da ya sa muka ɗauko kaza da kaza da kaza muka sa. Ya ce shi ya gamsu as long as za su iya yin wannan aikin yadda ake so. So da Allah ina kira, wayan abin da nake faɗa za ku na kallon shi wani abu da yawan kun fi ni sani a kai, amma lalle wannan ƙungiya na Gombawa Forum ta samu karaya, ta targaɗe. Bayan ta karye tana zaune, ƙoƙari ake yanzu ta tashi ta miƙe. Wayannan irin programs ɗin da kuma yin adalci wa duk ɓangaren da ya kamata ya adalci, lalle za a samu ci gaba. Kuma ina muku godiya da irin wannan dama da aka bamu. Allah ba mu sa'a, Allah ta rike.
Za mu ɗaura ta tare insha Allah. Yes. ATM zai zo, amma ina gaya wa shi Malam Faruk Yarmare dole in aka samu targaɗe za a nemi wadda za su zo su haɗu a ɗaura ta, saboda su kullum a maganar babi na adalci, kullum waɗanda suke ɗaya ɓangaren maganar su shine in yau muna ɗaya ɓangaren, the forum is open for waɗanda suke ɗaya ɓangaren su ma su yi holding wannan ɓangare ɗin accountable. Of course maganar tolerance yana nan, mun san wannan, but insha Allah we will ensure that duk strategy da za a samu zai zama ya yi balancing. Mun san mutane daban-daban suke, idan wani yana da tolerance wani ba.
So, good afternoon. Standing on the existing established protocol, I want to say one or two things only regarding what the government can provide and what individual can provide. You know, there are a lot of issues regarding limited resources and how resources are applied over time. And honestly, there is what we call institutional void, where the government cannot be able to fill the gap, and we expect private sector to come in. And you know, if we are talking about grants, I have not seen a government that has given grants in the last 8 years like the previous administration. A lot of people have gotten grants in agriculture, and other related enterprises. But the bottom line and the question is, how did you utilize the grant? I have not seen a government, even during Odoji, the last administration distributed more than what Odoji has distributed. Individual who cannot get 100,000 assistance or loan from anybody from length and breadth of Gombe, we are giving over 3 million, 10 million, 15 million, 1 billion, 2 billion. I know people who access 2 billion in this state for outgrowers, for milling and whatever, but you cannot see it. Then the problem is, what is wrong with us? What is wrong with us? Capacity and vision. When we look at government resources as our own share of national bounties, then it becomes less potent in our hand. Because money that you see, this money that you see, if they give you 1 trillion, if you cannot put life into that money will get eroded over time. Because you have to make the money to breathe. And if it is breathing, it starts creating money. If it is creating money, you have flow. Because stock can be depleted over time. Within short time, when you have a stock of money, people who collected their gratuity, people who collected their pension, or whatever you give them at the end of their service year, is a stock. Once there is no flow, just give them 6 months. We have seen previous ministers, we have seen past commissioners, we have seen so many other people struggling to survive because they did not create asset-yielding resources. And once you don't have asset-yielding resources, just give yourself time. No matter how rich you are, just give yourself time. That resource will not be there one day. So please and please, my call is I'm an advocate of micro-philanthropy. Micro-philanthropy doesn't mean that you must have the entire world to support others. No. If you look around in your environment, you see somebody from your neighborhood playing football at the time of school. And do you know the reason why he's playing football? They send him back because he has not paid 300 Naira PTA. Just pay that 300 Naira PTA, that's a community service. If you choose to give it to 10 people, it's just 3,000 Naira. Why not do it? Don't be looking at the rich and mighty. Some of the rich and mighty cannot do it because you don't know how they source this money. This money has also definition. You understand? Halal is halal, haram is haram. So you can see the money, but when he is not dispensing it, it all depends on how he accumulates this wealth. So I want to urge every person here, every individual here, that you can do your bit through micro-philanthropy by sending 1 or 2 kids back to school. PTA, exercise book, uniform, or whatever. Whatever we do, no matter how little, then it goes a long way in helping the society. And that's what we call the concept of shared prosperity. When you have it alone, you eat alone and die alone. And they inherit it and they bastardize it. But when you spread it around, and you don't know who can help you, not even your children can help you one day. Maybe it's the children that you supported elsewhere. And that is why they say the children is not for us, but it's for all. You understand? So my call is, let's strive hard and do no matter how little, whatever we can do to ensure that the society is better for it. A society can never be better than the people living in it. If you show more love, the society prosper and blossom. If you withhold love, then you breed resentment and hatred, and then it will come back to consume you. Thank you for the opportunity, and God bless you.
As we share, we grow, and we have additional issues to look at as research. So much money pumped. Maybe it was also an ATM, who knows? You know, just pumping money without any plan. But then we have academics, and I think it will be interesting to review these issues. You have made claims, people receiving 2 billion Naira. Maybe when we come to look at the economy, this should be issues that we should analyze, and we will expect to get a positive feedback from the university on why actually those interventions failed. Because, I mean, the interventions were deliberately created to assist our society, transform our society, and that has failed. Who will provide the answer? I'm sure people within this room will help us get the right answer. So I will quickly take Mala Abdul Malik and Dr. Manga. I will overrule. I'm not the chairperson, but I think some other time you will have opportunity. Then we will come back to chairman, and I think we'll just do some quick certificate presentation. We have spent so much time. We wouldn't want to take too much of your time again. So Mala Abdul Malik and Professor Manga, you can do your comment immediately after him.
Okay. So I don't want to use the teacher voice. Honestly, my own is we've been analyzing issues all over. And there's something that has been bogging my mind. Malan Nasiru just speak on that. The issue of these farmer-herder clashes that was just let follow. In fact, recently the National Assembly is trying to introduce a bill on this issue of ranching. And it also boils down to some of this issue of farmer-herder clashes. Unfortunately or unfortunately, here in Gombe, we have the DG of the National Commission for Nomadic Education, or his executive secretary, is from Gombe here. I think if we can get across to him, this research center or research on these farmer-herder clashes, a center can be established. Even here, you can even use sociologists and some multidisciplinary areas to look at the issue critically and come out with solutions. I think something that can be done if we can get across to the ES of this nomadic education. I think they can, if they have resources, to fund something so that research can be conducted on that, and at least we get way out of some of these problems.
Professor Manga, quickly, please. Yes.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Mine is a comment which is like a follow-up to the presentations. I was trying to think over and over, but I think we all agree that we have problem in our society. I mean, the society is sick. But diagnosing that problem and also trying to get the solutions is something that we as people that in quote are privileged in the society need to put as very, very important. But my main concern is the mindset in the society, is the mindset and leadership in our society, particularly this concept of instant gratification. All the points raised by both the first and the second speaker, particularly the second speaker, is something that you can clearly see people that are planting seeds whose fruits will come after several decades of their demise. But the issue we have today is everybody, either at individual community or even the leadership level, is you want to see the result of what you have done and get the credit directly. And it is something that if we have to, that does not have any boundary, whether it is a leader, the haves and the have-nots. Everybody has that mind of that instant gratification. And so the mindset of our society need to be changed, of people having that idea of doing things, not necessarily getting the direct reward or credit, or not necessarily getting it immediately. And if we are able to do that, many people that are at the lower level or at any level can fend for themselves, but we need to change that mindset. So it's a factor of leadership, it's a factor of mindset, but most importantly also the lawlessness that we have in the society. If everybody will do whatever he wants and nobody is talking about implementing the law, if we look at most of the problems is either lawlessness at the highest level of government, lawlessness at the level of us as individuals, and what we are all paying now is the price of irresponsibility. And so if we want to correct our people or do something, then we must all come together and fight that aspect of instant gratification and also try to take that pain of irresponsibility away from us. But unless we do that, people can take, maybe because of poverty and everything, 100 naira, 200 naira to vote irrespective of whichever direction, then we still have issues. And anybody can do anything if he has the power without the law, taking toll on any other one, then we still have issues. So I think as a group that are privileged, in quote, privileged elites, we need to come together and look at these concepts far more than the superficial ones, which I feel are more of manifestations of this deep-rooted failure. Thank you.
Thank you. I was told matasa are protesting on Facebook. Ba matasa. Na sani. Matasa yanzu ai lokacin su ne ba lokaci. It's just a comment for them to know. Matasa lokacin ku ne yanzu. Saboda haka comment action ne kamata ku yi ba comment ba. Shi yasa deliberately muka ce first generation we are celebrating them today. Second generation Gombawa Forum needs action from you ba comments ba yanzu. Duk da dai shi the current chairman yana so he comment on presentation amma I still feel matashi ne shi ma yanzu yayi hakuri da comment ɗinsa yawa a yi implementation yayi hakuri kawai babu maganar matasa ana second generation ne we are celebrating the founding members. Okay, mata ma suna so su comment. Oh, we could have taken mata. Okay, amma muna da mata a hall din na wanda ba su zo ba. Next time they will be encouraged to come. So I think quickly we will just give a minute or two to the presenters if there is anything they will want to recap. Okay, so the chairman will conclude and then this session is over. We will just go and do a quick certificate presentation. We'll only take one citation under this, and that will be the citation of Dr. Yusuf. Subsequently, as we said, from the local government program, going to the program we'll do in honor of AIT on physical governance, we'll do more of the presentations, inshallah. So, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. The president of Gombawa Forum, other members of the executives and the invited speakers, members of Gombawa Forum, I wish to confess one thing, that I'm falling in love with Gombawa Forum. Honestly, when I was invited and I saw the letter appointing me chairman of this occasion, I said, yes, I'm coming to the owners of Gombawa Motors. Because I have never known, actually I've never known the forum. So what I would request the president to do is to add me onto the platform. I've never been onto this platform. So this is a very beautiful organization, very prosperous, very potential in what it could realize in the future. I think we need a forum like this continuously. I learned you had a similar thing in 2018. I don't know when Dr. Babayo became the president. I can guarantee that he is the kind of person who can push this organization forward. He's also actually a professor in the making. So one day we will be here celebrating his professorship. So I'm really happy. The two presentations were wonderful. My classmate, Dr. Garba, not cosmate, my classmate, we were in NECAS together, 1975. So I wasn't expecting anything less from him. He doesn't speak. He's a man of action. So that's why he said he reluctantly accepted this position to give the talk. But you could see what he has done. One good example, just one example of the philanthropists who came and who donated so much to the government by pointing out his principal, that his principal was there. So he was giving everything free. This is what we want, giving back to the community. In many ways, and the second speaker also spoke very excessively about ways and means, but all two things, capacity and vision. The two must come together, because if you don't have the vision, you may be empowered. You may be given a lot of trillion, as the other speaker said, a lot of money was given out and nothing to show because they didn't have the vision. You need the vision to actualize the grant. So the capacity can only be meaningful when there's vision. And somebody has mentioned that, yes, professorship, you have reached the limit. But actually, as you know, in Nigeria today, all the professors may have the visions, but they don't have what? The capacity. No grant. They can hardly feed themselves and their families. So I think we need a turnaround. Let's start with Gombe Forum. Let's Gombe Forum set the pace. Occasions like this, and I'm happy Luna, another one will soon come up. Issues should be thrashed out. There should be series of such meetings where item by item, biting issues that are germane to the community are presented and dissected by the multiplicity of talents we have. Up to now, I don't know what Gombe Forum stands for, what are the kind of people on the forum, and I hope you get the point. There's a lot of things Gombe Forum can do, and I think it's a big challenge to the leadership of Gombe Forum, but also to members of Gombe Forum, that we should sustain this kind of meeting. We should improve on the presentations. And of course, you select, almost everybody has things to say, but select people who can present papers like these two pair of papers presented today. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Saleh Abdu, the Dean Faculty of Humanities, also the chairman of this particular occasion. I think from the discussion we had, the responses and whatever, you can agree with me that Gombawa Forum is one of the vibrant associations we have. In Gombawa Forum, we agree to disagree agreeably. In Gombawa Forum, somebody said, don't mind criticism. If it is untrue, disregard it. If it is unfair, keep from irritation. If it is ignorant, smile. If it is justified, learn from it. So we cross-fertilize ideas and whatever. So I think without much waste of time, we'll go to the second segment of this our presentation. And under this, I have identified some of the founding fathers and some of the active members of Gombawa Forum, some of the factors and actors in the making of Gombawa Forum. So we'll at least honor some of them. And first on the list is Dr. Yusuf. Then we'll invite him, and then Dr. Bose will come and read his citation. Dr. Yusuf, thank you very much.
Thank you once again. Thank you once again. So for the sake of time, we'll be brief and try to condense the citation. Dr. Yusuf Mohamed Abdullahi is a distinguished medical professional with over 2 decades of experience in histopathology, education, and healthcare management. Currently, he serves as an associate professor and honorary chief consultant histopathologist at the College of Medical Sciences, Gombe State University, and Federal Teaching Hospital, Gombe. Dr. Yusuf Abdullahi's educational journey began at the University of Maiduguri, where he earned his MBBS degree in 2003. He later became a fellow of the Medical College of Pathologists in 2012 and recently completed his Masters of Public Administration at Gombe State University in 2021. His professional career spans over 2 decades, starting as a resident pathologist at the University College Hospital, Ibadan, from 2007 to 2012. He rose to become the chief resident in the Department of Pathology at University College Hospital, Ibadan, between 2010 and 2011. In 2012, he joined the Federal Teaching Hospital, Gombe, as a consultant pathologist and later became the head of the histopathology department from 2012 to 2014, and again from 2014 to 2016. He also held the position of the Deputy Chairman, Medical Advisory Committee, Acting Chairman, Medical Advisory Committee, and currently he is the Chief Medical Director, Federal Teaching Hospital, Gombe. Dr. Yusuf Abdullahi has held various leadership positions, including Chairman of the Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria, Gombe State Chapter. He was also a member of the State Executive Council, NMA, Gombe. And in addition to his clinical and leadership roles, Dr. Yusuf Abdullahi
is a dedicated educator and researcher. He has published over 20 papers in peer-reviewed journals and conference proceedings and is a member of several professional associations, including the Nigerian Medical Association and the National Postgraduate Medical College of Pathologists and International Academy of Pathology. He is also a traditional title holder as Dangaladima of the Shamaki of Gombe. So this is just a brief citation, and it's more of his own personal gains. But as it is said, actions speaks louder than words. He's now proudly called the digital CMD. He has transformed the Federal Teaching Hospital Gombe, and as it has been said by one of the speakers, combination of vision and capacity define this personality here. And I can testify from my own department alone, he has sent over 10 resident doctors to go on to undergo consultancy training, that's to become specialists. And I can attest to you, it's when I went out of Gombe, when I visited some other teaching hospital, that I realized the hidden gem that we have in Dr. Yusuf. Some chief medical directors were not assessed in some centers. You'll see police officers guiding them. But this chief medical director is the one that you can give him a phone call and he will respond to your own problem and solve it. So with him, we have a better medical profession in Gombe, especially with his team of his friends. Most of them, they are here. And this team, we have known them for quite a while. They have been together in medical school. They went together for the residency training. They are together now. And they have changed the history and narratives of medical profession, where most of them, the tradition in the medical field is more of like the army, where it's just seniority and command. But these people, they take the mentee as their friends, as their brothers. They call you, they work together with you. So we'll call on the medical elder, Dr. Garba Saidu, to help in presenting the certificate to you.
The CMD, Dr. Yusuf Abdullahi, accept this token from Gombawa Forum in appreciation of your contribution to the medical care industry.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Garba Saidu. Thank you very much. Okay, can I go? So I will now call on the Okay. Okay, thank you. Again, we have some certificate to be presented, some of our founding fathers, some of the active members of Gombawa Forum, and then we'll quickly call on the former president, Professor Mazu Shehu, to present these certificates. We have a program specially dedicated for this. So we'll just give them the certificate and then no citation for now, okay? So thereafter, this would be done. So I will invite Professor Mazu Shehu to come and present this certificate. First to one of our former president, Malan Tanim Umar. Okay, okay.
Assalamu alaikum. Malan Tanim Umar, on behalf of Gombawa Forum, an association you were opportune to lead at some point as a chairman, a vibrant one for that matter. This association feel it's important to recognize your contributions to its development before and during your term as before, during, and after your term as its president. Kindly take this certificate as a recognition and appreciation of your contributions to the forum.
Okay, thank you very much. The next is Dr. Abubakar Inwatata.
Okay. Mala Abubakar Tata has been one of the pioneer members of this association, and his contributions to its foundation, to its development, to whatever we achieved, the modest achievements we've been able to to accomplish as an organization or association didn't happen without his active participation and contribution. In recognition of this dedication as a founding member, Gombawa Forum feels it's important to honor you with this certificate as a founding member, as an active leader in the organization.
Thank you very much. The next is Mala Abdullah Abubakar Lamido.
Mala Abdullah Lamido, one of the first 4 members of the association Gombawa Forum. The forum finds it necessary to honor you with this certificate for your untiring support, contribution, and efforts towards making Gombawa Forum a huge success that it is. I call him Mr. Solution. Abdullah has virtually has a workable and effective solution to any problem, and he has provided us with many solutions to the problems we face as an association, as individuals, and as a community. The association honors you with this certificate, and I hope you'll continue to do what you've been doing to the community over the years. Thank you.
Thank you. The next is Dr. Sani Yakubu Gombe.
Like Abdullah Lamido, Dr. Sani Yakubu Gombe, as you all know, has been a really active and a resilient member of Gombawa Forum. Not just Gombawa Forum, he is really very active in community development throughout Gombe State, as we know him to be. Gombawa Forum feels it's necessary to award you with this certificate as a recognition and appreciation of the many contributions you've given to the forum, and I hope you will continue to do more in the future. Thank you.
The next is Mala Ismail Ibrahim Bima. Megomba.
So, Ismail Bima got his nickname from Gombawa Forum as a testimony to his commitment to the forum. Many know him as my Gombawa, and as another founding member of the forum, we all know what he has done for the development of the association, especially in the area of environmental restoration and fighting environmental degradation. He founded the first and the most progressive environmental NGO in Gombe State, and he has been doing really remarkably in that respect. Gombawa Forum has to honor this great gentleman with this certificate, hoping that he will continue to do what he has been doing in the future. Mala Ismail, congratulations.
Next is Malam Farooq Yerma.
Yeah, Farouk Yerma is a household name not in Gombawa Forum. Even as a political appointee, unlike some of us who found ourselves in the corridors of power and became less active in the organization. As a member of the State Executive Council, Farouk Yerma was relentless in participating in all the debates, all the discussions, and all efforts to find solutions to problems, especially with regards to youth development, education, and so on. It's important to recognize this great gentleman for his contributions to the forum and for his support to its development and progress. I hope you will take this certificate and see it as a motivation to continue to do what you've been doing for the community. Thank you.
again, we have two of our members who are deceased, actually. It's a posthumous award. We have Lami Thompson and we have Nabiya Tal. In recognition of their contribution to the forum, we decided to...
Yeah, these two ladies, Nabiya and Lami, were part of us from the beginning. And their contributions, like those we just issued with certificates, cannot really be over-exaggerated. So on behalf of these ladies, I will call on the former President Malam Tanim Umar to accept this as a recognition of the contributions they have given to the forum and to the development of Gombe State as a whole.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Mazu Shehu. And then we have certificates for virtual, all our members, founding fathers, and then this will be given to them in due course, maybe after this particular program. In fact, a program will be organized purposely for that. We have given this certificate to our founding fathers to tell them that we are back. The Gombawa Forum is back, okay? So from this, we'll continue the work. I will invite the chairman, the president of Gombawa Forum, Dr. Babayo Sule, to come and present certificate to our chairman of the occasion, and our guest speakers.
Okay, thank you very much. But please, before I go into that, I found some valuable comment made, which I feel some of them I need to come in, but I was asked to defer the comment until now. To start with, I think the first presenter made a very important submission, which I think I'm going to add an information to it. That is the issue of NIPS. I want to give us a glad tidings that recently Federal University of Kashere had a memorandum of understanding with the NIPS. In fact, it has already been done and sealed. They will soon come and be holding some of their programs here in Federal University of Kashere in Gombe State. The certificate will read NIPS, and some of them will come and train the attendees. Also, some of us will go there, some lectures and take some courses. So there is now a collaboration. So I think it's an achievement to the Gombe State. So that's why I say it is important to give this information. Secondly, on the presentation of Malan Nasir Ishaq, I think you will feel free, absolutely free and freely. Because in the world of academics, you look at people's face and tell them the truth as it is, and they will not mind. So what you said, I was happy with the submission, and it's a challenge. And we have taken this to a challenge. And really, we are going to sit up. The case of, you mentioned some issues, some conflicts